What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and the Phillies do win this ballgame against New York Mets tonight. They beat them by a score of 7-2. The Phillies, I'll give it to them. They grinded out a win, and yes, I'll admit there was some luck involved in this ballgame, but the Phillies did manage to grind out a win. And hell, they had Jacob DeGrom on the mound for the New York Mets, who they struggled a bit against tonight. I'll give it that. Jacob DeGrom is a Cy Young winner for a reason, and he is something special in that Mets ball club. But the Phillies do manage to grind out a win late in this ball game, and they got runs when they had their chances. And we also had Vince Velasquez on the mound, but can't really judge it because it's Vince Velasquez. He had some solid innings, but there's always that one inning where he grinds so much, and why he can't go deep in the ball games because he always has that one or two innings where he struggles so much. It's like on and off during a ball game with Vince Velasquez. He'll give you some innings where he shows you why he has the good stuff, and then there's innings where he just looks flat out awful, where he gets into tough situations and it's a struggle for him to get out of. But it's a decent outing for Vince Velasquez, even though he didn't go deep into the ball game. He held his own against New York Mets. He only allowed 2 runs today. He only went 5 innings, allowed 6 hits, 2 earned runs, I think 3 strikeouts. Did allow a home run, but he did hold his own against the Mets, and he put the Phillies in a position to come back into this ballgame and win it. So early on in this ballgame, directly on the first pitch, Scott Kingery wasn't afraid of Jacob DeGrom. First pitch, second deck in left field, out of the ballpark. So Scott Kingery showing some pop off the bat as of late, and during this whole season, actually. Scott Kingery has just been an excellent player for us, and he's one of our more consistent. And late in the 4th inning in this ball game, Pete Alonso crushes a ball to left field, and he ties the game at 1-1. And then later on, he gets a double to get the Mets a 2-1 lead. But then we get into the 7th inning, and this is where the Phillies' luck comes in. Cesar Hernandez gets a little dribbler up the baseline. Rhys Hoskins, they try to gun Rhys Hoskins out of the plate. I don't know why I could not say that, but it looked like they got him a little bit, but the umpire called him safe. And you want to know what the funny thing is? What gives us this a little bit sort of luck? The Mets did not have any challenges whatsoever to challenge that play because Rhys Hoskins was out on that play, but the umpire called him safe. And the Mets did not have any challenges at all because they used a challenge earlier in this ball game when Todd Frazier was trying to steal second base. On that replay from that challenge, you could make the argument that he was safe, but the umpire called him out, and the Mets lost that challenge. So they can't use a challenge the rest of the ball game. So that came back to haunt them a little bit because the Phillies got their luck right there, and they tied the ball game 2-2. And then we get to the 9th inning. The Mets bring out Diaz again, who the Phillies rocked in the series last time in Philadelphia. They do it the same exact thing. Jay Bruce comes up clutch once again. It's an RBI single, and that scores JT Realmuto. Then Sean Rodriguez, he scores Roman Quinn, and it gets Cesar to third. Gene Segura gets a double, scores Sean Rodriguez and Cesar. Then Bryce Harper gets a double that scores Segura. And sooner or later, you know it, it's 7-2 Phillies. And then the Phillies bring Hector Neris in for the 9th inning because he really hasn't gotten opportunities as of late from the Brave series. He only got 1 chance in that Brave series. And he shuts the door down, and the Phillies win this ball game 7-2. But as I'm watching this ball game, it's like, yes, I'm happy the Phillies won this ball game. I'm happy that they are winning, but I went into the series not valuing it as much because it's against the New York Mets. And the Mets, they're just in a whole different situation right now with the organization. They're at the lowest of the low right now. They are most likely a dumpster fire right now. I feel bad for the Mets fans at this point, even though they still show up the ball game, so I'll give it to the Mets fans. They are very dedicated to this ball club. But as soon as that 9th inning went underway and the Phillies were just scoring runs left and right against the bullpen, the Mets fans were just palming their faces and they were leaving the ballpark. It's just, I feel bad for those fans that they have to watch this team night in and night out just constantly blow games. And they have the talent on the roster to do stuff. It's just not working out for them. And that bullpen is just embarrassing. That bullpen is atrocious right now. Imagine all the blown leads that they had in the Phillies series a couple weeks ago. Yeah, they're doing the same thing again. Just Jacob DeGrom pitches a really good game. The Phillies struggled against DeGrom. He goes 7 innings, strikeout 10. The Phillies just couldn't do anything to DeGrom except that Scott Kingery home run. But You bring in the bullpen loses the game for you. And that's basically the Mets season this whole time. You get good quality starting pitching, and your bullpen just basically blows it. Yeah, you have some pieces in the offense here and there, but you can't win ball games if you have a terrible bullpen. You can also say the same thing about the Philadelphia Phillies, but the bullpen has really been off and on. But one of the main reasons we're in this really bad slump right now is part with the bullpen. But I won't get into that right now because we won this ball game. I am happy for the Phillies that they won this ball game, but you can't value it as much as because it's against the New York Mets in this dumpster fire. Yeah, we won a ball game, cool, but I don't want to go into the series like I did last time when we swept the Mets. I got overexcited and I overhyped everything, and I thought the Phillies were going to start some kind of run off of that. I'm not going to fall for it again. Hell, if we win 2 out of 3, win 3 in a row, I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to overvalue it. I'm not going to say that they're going to do this and this and that. Just, it's good that we have the All-Star break after the series, and we can see what the front office wants to do with this team during the All-Star break, because we get into the All-Star break, it's the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game, then we have a couple days off before our next game, which is Friday, I think. Next Friday is our first game after the All-Star break, so there's some good bit of time for the players to get away from the game, get some relaxation, and just get away from baseball just to clear your mind. And that's probably what this team needs, is just to clear their minds. And it's also good that not a lot of them are in the All-Star game besides JT Realmuto. Just give them a chance to clear their thoughts, clear their minds, get away from the game of baseball for a little bit. And hopefully it does them some good. So, get some stat lines from this ball game. Scott Kingery, he goes 1 for 4 with the leadoff solo bomb. Gene Segura, he has another 2-hit game. Bryce Harper, he gets another RBI and a double late in this ball game. He goes 1 for 5. Rhys Hoskins, when he gets cold, he is insanely cold. He goes over 3. He did have 2 walks, but the man is striking out a ton lately. And him and Kruk have been talking, because Kruk brought this up in the broadcast, that Rhys just doesn't have it right now. He's even starting to feel a little depressed, but he's not happy with himself right now in the way he has been playing. And I feel like what's factoring into him being so sluggish this year, because it's been hot, insane cold. A little hot, insanely cold. And that's been, even though Rhys Hoskins is a really hot and cold player, the cold is overshadowing the hot this year. And that's what's been happening to Rhys Hoskins as of late during this really terrible slump right now for the Phillies. He just hasn't been getting those timely hits, and he hasn't been getting those big hits. And he really just hasn't been having good ball games in general. He can't drive the ball out of the ballpark. He's striking out way too much. And I really think when he gets up to the batter's box, he just has that thought in his mind, I got to get the big hit. I got to get out of this slump somehow. And he's just not taking a simple approach just to get out. Just take it day by day. Just do the simple things. And I feel like he's just overthinking it a little bit. And he's a little and he's pissed off at himself right now because he can't get out of this major slump that he's in. So, like I said, this All-Star break can possibly be a sign of good for the Phillies, just to get a lot of players away from the game of baseball, just to clear their minds. So, like I said, and another stat lines from this ball game, JT Realmuto, he's been hot as of late. He went another 2-hit game. He goes 2 for 5. Jay Bruce comes up really clutch with the hit in the 9th inning. Cesar, another hit, 1 for 3. He gets an RBI. And Michael Franco, another 0 for day. And then even the bullpen as well, they come in after Vince Velasquez and do a really good job. Jose Alvarez goes an inning. Tommy Hunter, he's been really good since coming off of the injury list lately. He goes an inning and a third, strikes out 1. Then Adam Morgan literally throws 2 pitches. He goes 2/3 of an inning. And then Hector Neris comes in and shuts the door down. Yeah. I'm just not going to overhype anything. It's a good ball game. The Phillies battled and grinded through this ball game late. And they earned the win against a solid pitcher and Jacob deGrom. Sadly, he pitched a really good game today. He didn't get the win. He gets a no decision. And the bullpen, once again for the Mets, blows a ball game against the Philadelphia Phillies. It's just basically, if you get to the bullpen for the New York Mets, you're going to win the ball game. If a starting pitcher for the Mets can't go out there and guarantee a win, because what the hell is the bullpen going to do? And Diaz, he is a good pitcher. He just doesn't have it this season. He's been blowing a lot of ball games left and right. And just the bullpen as a whole is just terrible right now for the New York Mets. You just got to feel for the fans that they still show up to every ball game, but they got to live through this garbage. It's hard to I feel bad for the Mets fans. I pray for you every single night that you have to watch this team. And you could say the same thing for the Phillies fans because we're going through a whole nother level of garbage right now. But we're not the Mets right now. And I feel it for you fans because you're one dedicated fan base and you're living through this garbage right now. And I feel bad for you. But as a Phillies fan, I'm not gonna value a win over the Mets because it's just how bad the team is. It's simple as that. And I'm not gonna overhype anything until we start winning against actual contenders and actual ball clubs. I'm not saying that the Mets are on a whole different level of dumpster fire right now because they just can't get anything going for them. It just seems like everything that can possibly go wrong is going wrong for them. Their bullpen is bad. They're getting good starts out of their pitchers, but then some of the other starters, like, you can basically make an argument for them. But like, when you have guys like Jacob deGrom and Noah Syndergaard, you should guarantee a win at least out of those two starters each night. But sometimes their bullpen just comes out and they blow ball games. That's what happens in the game of baseball. But for the Mets, it's happening way too often. And you could say the same thing for the Phillies as of late. Their bullpen, you can't rely on them. And you can't rely mostly out of the starters right now besides Aaron Nola. And Vince Velasquez, he had a solid outing. He held his own. But there's always that 1 or 2 innings where he struggles. Simple as that. And yeah, not going to value this series too much. Not going to overhype anything. Just take it one day at a time and just get ready for the All-Star break, basically. So, want to hear your thoughts about the Phillies game tonight. Want to hear your thoughts about Vince Velasquez's start. How the Phillies got lucky as hell. And just that comeback, not the comeback in the ninth inning, but just how they rallied in the ninth inning to win this ball game late. So, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, boys, and I will see you in the next video.